Hi, this is Sue's in the shed, and today I'm going to show you how to do a double crochet, which is known in the US as a single crochet, but in the UK we don't use that terminology. We use double crochet. So this is a chain. If you can't do a chain, if you have a look at my videos, you will see how to do a chain. All of these little V's here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is a stitch. You don't count the one on your hook because you start with one on your hook. You just count the amount of movements you've done. Now there's a couple of ways you can go into these stitches. The first way, which is a lot easier for beginners, is if you go into the top of the stitch, and you'll see that there's one piece of yarn over the hook there. The slight issue with this is that it does cause a little bit of a hole when you're crocheting. So the correct way is to go into the bottom of the stitch, which is there, and that gives you two pieces of yarn across the top of your hook. That gives you the nicer finish and is the correct way to do it. But if you can only manage to get in the top one, do that while you're practicing, because the rest will come later. Now in crochet also we have what's called a turning chain, and that depends on what stitch you're doing. In double crochet it's a turning chain of 2 stitches, so 2 chains. So in effect these 2 chains here would sit up like that as a right angle and become your first stitch, because we start from the top of the stitch and work down. If you were doing a treble you would have 3 and so on. So we're going to work into the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3. You put your hook in and you draw your yarn from the back and through the work. That gives you 2 loops on your hook. That means you're doing a double crochet. You take your yarn round and you take those 2 stitches off. 1, 2. So we'll try that again. We'll put the hook into the next stitch. We draw the yarn back. We're going to take the yarn round and take the 2 off. Now let me show you something that beginners often do, which can cause a little bit of an issue. When they've put the hook in and drawn the yarn back, the yarn then goes round, but instead of taking them off in order, a lot of beginners will grab this yarn with the hook, the throat of the hook, and grab this one, and they pull them both through, resulting in 2 stitches left on the hook and a really flat stitch. So that is incorrect. You've got to make sure that these stitches come off in order. So hook through, yarn back, yarn round, and 2 off in order. 1, 2. You will get quicker at this as you go, but while you're learning, just try and do it slowly, carefully, and make sure those stitches come off in order. 1, 2. What also you don't want to be doing is this. And you pick those stitches up. I see this a lot, and that really messes with your tension, because that's giving you a nasty little baggy stitch there. This is your hook, this is your tool, not these, so use your tool. No picking your stitches off. In, back, and 2 off. So this is the stitch we're in. So you can see that this underneath loop will go to the next underneath loop. So in, back, and 2 off. And the last one there, in, yarn back, yarn round, and 2 off. We're going to turn around and go back, and remember that turning chain that we spoke about at the beginning. We need that. So 1, 2, and return. Occasionally patterns that have double crochet in them will only do a turning chain of 1, but they'll work into every stitch. But if we've done the turning chain of 2, this stitch now, these 2 chains are counted as a stitch and belong in this stitch space, so we don't actually use that hole to work into. We're going to the next hole, and as you can see, the nice little holes now for a double crochet, and see right through that. You put your hook in and you have your 2 pieces of yarn across the top. So just double check you've got that. Yarn back, yarn round, 2 off, and again hook in, yarn back, yarn round, 2 off, in, back, round, 2 off, in, back, round, 2 off, and continue. And don't forget, you've got your 2 chain to do at the beginning of every row. Now you might think you've come to the end now because you've used all the little holes, but you've not to forget the turning chain that you did on the row below. So you've got to make a stitch into this turning chain, making sure you get 2 pieces of yarn over your hook. Just pop a stitch in and you won't get a nasty pyramid. Pyramids would be really nice if you mean to get a pyramid, but if you're wanting a straight piece, you must remember that last stitch. Hope this has been useful to you. Carry on hooking.